This is the Phase 433, left-handed. We're doing this with only one camera, but I will show you. It's left-handed, really weird. We already started by putting the spot hog in. We're using the bridge lock system right here. You can see the bridge lock key is in. It's anchored in. The spot hog is not as specifically designed for it, but I'll tell you what, I've got 2 of them like this now, and they work really great. Bridge lock technology. Got a new hat. Spent a lot of money on this hat. Every hat we bought, they gave us a new bow. Sight is mounted. Next up, take the outer clamp off. Oh man, those people at Mathews got some muscles. Actually, this is QAD, but it's made for Mathews, so it's probably Mathews people that did it. This very small Allen wrench comes in the kit, and that is for loosening and tightening the little drive clamp. I guess it's called the drive clamp because it's got the marker on there for your 0. And that goes on your bridge lock or your integrate mount. So I'm gonna eyeball to get myself close to center. I wanna make sure that my rest comes up close to center of the burger hole, and then when it's down, it clears everything. So we're good there. We're pretty damn close to the center of the burger. We'll make some final adjustments when we're getting ready to tune, but we gotta just get it real close. Do enough of them, your eyeballs work really good because they all look pretty close to the same. So we'll tighten that up. From here on out, it'll be adjustment with the Allen wrench and the rest drive. So next thing we put on is the indicator clamp. That clamp goes on next, and that finishes the integrate part of the mount. Snug that up. I don't like over tightening anything. After I get done, I will tighten some stuff up, but I won't over tighten anything. I'm gonna leave this part right here tied up until we get closer to the end. All right, I'm gonna flip it back over, and while I've got it right here in front of my hands, I'm gonna take the felt that comes with it, take them off of the stickers, and just put them on the rest so that that's out of the way and I don't lose it. You can kind of see where the grooves are. It'll fit both ways, but one way fits looking better. So that's the way I'll put it in, kind of fold it in half, slide it down to the groove, and let it go over the edges. I wish you could get a close-up of that, but we're doing the best we can with the technology we have. I could go out and get my GoPro, but it's like a 100-year flood out there right now, and I'm not feeling it. So, definitely not feeling it. Who wants to go out in that nasty weather? Not I. All right. One side felt on the rest, on the rest. Second side felt going on. The bottom felt's already in. Some people would tie serving string around this. That's a pretty cool look. That way you can get your colors to match. And then some people will put heat shrink on there. You can get heat shrink from AutoZone or Home Depot. Just use a lighter or a torch, a small torch, or use a hair dryer. The string normally comes with this clamp. Some people call it a football clamp. Some people call it a 2-piece clamp. I don't use it. I put the string through the bowstring, and then I'll tie it. And that way I feel like it's less likely to fail. That's a failure point to me. Okay, so we've got rest on, side on. Just gonna put a couple of more accessories on. Again, you'll always see me putting on a wrist strap just because I don't want to ever drop a bow. I normally will put on the bee stinger, but Mathews has a really good quick disconnect. I'm using a 0 degree for 2 reasons. One is I've got to integrate stabilizer, so I don't really need an offset. And the second reason for it is quick release is just holding the wrist strap in place. I like the shiny part of the wrist strap leather facing out and the flat colored part facing in toward the bow. Again, I'll just set this up where the wrist strap is parallel or perpendicular to the riser, and the quick connect hole is pointing straight up the riser. And this is the one, like I said, I'll crank that one down because the wear and tear on the wrist strap will cause that to come loose. So that's another failure point. So we got some exciting things coming up. One of the things we got coming up, May 18th and 19th, we're gonna go out to the real McCoy Ranch in McCoy, Texas with 4B Outdoors. Go do some cull hunting and maybe a little trophy hunting, definitely a little hog hunting. All right, so the next thing we're putting in, I got a 10-inch bridge lock stabilizer. This is for my buddy Jared. You'll see him on the Africa videos. So, I don't even know where the bridge lock stabilizer goes in at. It looks like it goes right here. Yep. Oh, that's pretty slick. And then, instead of having an Allen key, has this wing nut for tightening it up. Spins right down in there. Okay, so now what I should do is go square it up. But what I like to do, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. And you don't have to have it level here. It sure does help. You can use a square. I've used a square before, but I'm more partial to the level. So I'll put a string level on here. You see that? Yep, you can see that. I will level. So to me, there's 2 levels. There's plumb and level. Plumb is straight up and down with the world, and level is level with the world. So actually, the correct term for this, I guess, would be plumb, because I'm plumbing it up. MFJJ over at PODIUM Archer. If you go over and check him out, I'll put a link down in the description, but go check him out. He's gonna be showing a new vise. I love this vise because you can get just about any angle, but one of the things that's kind of finicky about it is, if you're not careful, it moves around a lot, okay? So I'm gonna use a 4mm arrow, because that's what Jared shoots. I'll put it in the rest, knock it on here, put my little arrow level on the arrow, so we make sure that the arrow is level, bow is level, arrow is level. Again, like I said before, I'll push the rest all the way to the 100% 180 upright position, level the arrow, arrow's level the bow. See, I'm barely pushing on it and it's taking it out of level. So everything is level. All right, grab my silver Sharpie. Make sure not to let the arrow move. I just mark the string right where the knock was, and that'll give me my mark to tie the knock in place. Put it in, and this doesn't have to be tight. It just needs to be snug where it won't move. One thing I like about the Mathews, I don't know if you can see that right there. They got the little grooves for your teeth on your bow press to rest in so it doesn't slide, and it also doesn't mess up the finish on your bow, your limbs. Now we'll do one on the bottom. I guess that'd be the top. Okay, so we got our good spacing there. We'll cinch it down tight. Fray that out really good so you can tighten it or heat it up. Cool off for a second. Get your needle nose. Suck it up. All right. Once you got your needle nose, get your knock tightener. Flick it over and get it on the string. I like this thing because it pulls perfect. And then tighten it up real good. And there you go. That's a perfect size knock that I have on almost every one of my bows. If it doesn't match that exactly, it's because that knock was tied by somebody else. All right, next thing I'm gonna do is put in the Peep. I'm gonna get it, I'm not gonna tie this one down. I'm gonna get a little loose so I have a little play on the string. Okay, so see I got flex in the string, and I'll spin the string with my fingers a little bit, and that will give me a spot where I can pull that knot they put on the string from the factory. They split the string in half right there for you to put your Peep in. There we go. All right, I'll pull this off. Now I'm just gonna take a little piece of black string. I'm just gonna tie it on there so it doesn't pop off. I think that'll hold it. I'm just gonna leave it loose like that until we get him fitted. Okay, so we got the Peep in the string. We got the knock on the string. So now the next thing we need to do, I'm gonna go ahead and tie in the rest. So there is a keeper on these. See that? It'll slide in and out. We get our red out. It's not frayed yet. So we're gonna heat it up. Get your fingers wet and make it nice and pointy. Look at that. Give myself some slack. Okay, so this end right here is gonna be our end that drives it. Cut it with a razor knife, get the part I just melted off of there. Hopefully no stitches today. And then we'll make a big wad right here, fraying it out. Looks pretty good. I'm just barely getting it to the edge of there. The nut, the set screw that's in here, when I tighten it up, should hold it in place. And that little knot we just created by heating it up is kind of like a backup so it won't slide out. Okay, so that's snug. Again, I don't want to over tighten it because I don't want the set screw to cut through the string. Okay, so we got to take a little bit of pressure off the bowstrings. So I'll crank it down a little bit, get a little bit of pressure off. And again, this is one of those ones where you really want it to be in half. I'm giving myself a little bit more slack. But just short of counting the strands, I'm gonna eyeball it. That's pretty dang close to half. I'm gonna run up probably about right there. Cut it off. My scraps off to the side. I'm gonna run it down through here. I'm not gonna do anything yet except run it down through there and leave it loose. Okay, I'm off to the side now. I'm just gonna draw it back. So by pulling it back, it straightens out this string. When it does, it activates the rest. See the rest activating? So when you fire, it pops forward, okay? So when I pulled it back, it activated it. So now I can let it down. The string is set at the right length right here, and I can tie this. All right, so what I like to do is basically tie the knot that I had on my D-loop. So I'll run it up over here. And you see I got my little hitch going. I'll go around, back up through, and that just made it close on itself, right? So it's left-handed, backwards from me. And basically, it's just to keep it from going anywhere when you're out in the field. I don't know if everybody can see that, but it's tight now. Cut off the excess. And this one, you don't really need it to be frayed out, but I will heat it up, get all the other strings out of the way. I heat it up just so it doesn't fray out in the field and come apart. Okay, now our rest is tied in. Peep is set, it's not tied in yet. D-loop is on, it should be square. Sight's on, stabilizer's on. This sucker needs to be shot. I think we'll take it to Jared tomorrow and see what he thinks.